Hi, I'm Shuj. Welcome to the Founders Disco. Today we're talking to Nichole Wood. Nichole Wood is the founder of New You Fitness. And New You Fitness aims to help busy professionals build bodies that keep up with their ambitions. They offer the Executive Edge coaching program, personal training, virtual or in person, and corporate wellness programs. Nichole and I will be talking about how she got started, some of the challenges she experienced along the way, and a bit of advice for anyone looking to get started in the fitness business. Enjoy. Would you like to give us a rundown of your business and who you help and how you do it?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Nicole. I have been a personal trainer for 12 years and I've been working in person mostly. So I've found with my in person clients that a lot of them, come into the gym ready to rumble for their 1 hour session. And after that 1 hour, life will get in the way and they're back to kids and work and meetings and all of that work that they just did in the gym seems to fall to the back burner. So I have founded Executive Edge to hopefully get people to pay attention to more of the other 23 hours of the day because that is honestly where I find that the magic does happen. The workouts are great and they get you, a portion of where you want to be, but unless you have the other kind of portions of your day in your control as well, like a lot of that can kind of fall to the wayside. So, Executive Edge is designed to help executives, entrepreneurs, business owners, founders find a work health balance again and use that energy that they put into their business and into their family and establishing themselves and really put it back into themselves so they can continue to have that edge in their business and in their life.
Amazing. How cool. And when did the idea for this like first start kicking around in your head?
So this has kind of always been an end game for me. I've known that I don't want to work the gym, 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. hours my whole life. And I put out my first version of this in 2020, actually. It launched 3 weeks before the COVID shutdowns. And it actually ended up being a really great test as to how awesome online training is and how great it works for people. So I had 5 people going through my program at that time, and they were the only 5 people that actually followed through on all of their scheduled things that they had to do that week because they were the only ones that were able to not have their routine completely uprooted because their routine was rooted in their life that they were already living. So it actually ended up being a really great testament as to how flexible this type of programming can be and how adaptable it can be. So, for the last 5 years, I've kind of had to rebuild my in-person business, and that took the priority. And now that I'm kind of at that sweet spot again, I'm ready to fully launch back into the online world and make it fully geared towards the executives.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, COVID was fun like that, wasn't it? Like it was
Yeah,
amazing
every
for
day
some
was an
people and
adaptation.
awful for some people, right? Like, yeah, it was.
Yeah, those people, they would always note to me, they're like, you actually are the only consistency in my life right now because everything else is kind of going up in flames. This is the one thing that I actually have to focus on and to keep me grounded. And I think there's no really better testament to what this stuff can do than that.
Yeah, amazing. Um, and so you touched on it before, but if we wanted to like dive a little deeper into like what problems in these people's lives do you actually like target in order to help them the most?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I find that mostly people struggle with where to fit things in and the unpredictability of scheduling. So on a Sunday night, somebody's going to have the best intentions of eating all of their breakfast every morning and getting their workout in right before work and making sure their snacks are good. And then a kid gets sick or a meeting gets rescheduled or somebody doesn't deliver on your team and you're stuck until 2 a.m. writing slides for somebody. And it is really easy to just say that, I'll do my workout tomorrow, or I can just run to McDonald's on my way home. And those little decisions end up getting people into a place that they just don't want to be, and they don't realize that they're there until after they've made those little decisions for so long. So
Mm-hmm.
my work really doesn't reinvent the wheel for anybody. I actually take what you give me to work with and I will adapt a routine around what you are able to do. So it's not like you're adding more onto your plate.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking the time that you have and we're going to pull out all of the fluff that the health and fitness world gives you, and we're going to say this doesn't matter, this does. You have to focus on this, and it's really just simplified.
Cool. That's amazing. What's been one of the most like frustrating parts of getting this off the ground in terms of like, you know, people. Like you said, those first five people were amazing
Mm.
to work with. How were the next five and the next five? And like, did you have moments where you're like, I just want to burn it all down?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Like I said, I started this during the COVID time, so it was a constant roller coaster. I would have a week or two where the lockdown was lifted and we were all good to go, and I had people gearing up to work with me, and then their kids were stuck at home with them for 3 weeks and they accidentally bit off more than they could chew. And so I actually did have to kind of restart my business, I would say at least three different times.
Yeah.
So it was very, very up and down.
Right.
I find these days, now that life has kind of evened out a little bit, that the more I have like vetted who I work with, it's been a lot easier to make sure that it's a good fit for both of us. So uh, I really make sure that the person is ready to make the change before they come and work with me, because it is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And that's something that I really try to hone in on with people. And even if it takes time and they don't sign up with me right away, I find that when people do make the call to actually work with me, they truly are ready at that point.
Yeah. Amazing. And how do you go through like validating or sort of running that vibe check um, when you're initially speaking to someone?
Mm. I would say it's not necessarily like a systemized process. I really I think I just pick up on the person's energy, honestly. I can tell. I've been doing this, like I said, for 12 years. So I can tell when somebody is chomping at the bit and they just don't have enough space in their life for making a change, and that's very possible at some point. There are a lot of different just lifestyle things that are going on that might not allow you to make this change right now. So
Hmm.
I like to keep those people kind of in a, like on my social media or in my LinkedIn presence. And I'll always be sharing little tips and tricks. And
Yeah.
I find that if you keep the door open for somebody and you always just kind of keep them in your general line of communication, then they will know when they're ready. And I think it really is like a mutual thing.
Yeah. 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 In your ecosystem type.
Yeah, yeah. Email list, social media, check in every once in a while. But
Yeah.
I find that I am very upfront about what the commitment is going to take. And so I'm very forward with the person. And I say, like, if you are not able to take this on right now, then it's just not the best time or investment for either of us. So I think just being very upfront about what the actual commitment is, that's out who it needs to vet out.
Cool. Amazing. And do you do all this on your own? Do you have a team behind you? Do you?
No, I'm
Yeah.
solo right now.
Yeah.
So the eventual goal is to hire a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
So that will be happening soon, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of
Amazing.
figuring out all of the behind the scenes systems right now before I can do
Sure.
that.
Sure. Um, so you use the word systems. I love systems. What what kind of systems are you working on?
So I would say the biggest systemizing that I needed to do is to get my in-person business kind of under wraps. It truly is a completely different type of business than the online coaching system. So I have a payment processing system. I have scheduling reminders. I have, my billing, just taking care of all of those little things that might take 4 to 6 hours a week for me at the beginning. Of now, I've probably systemized into 2 or 3 hours a month, I would say, of just all of the back end stuff. My
Okay.
programming, that took a long time to do for a while. So
Hmm.
I found a system on how to program for people. So now that my in-person business, I would say, is in its own system, I'm able to start systemizing the online stuff. So
Yeah.
my biggest system for online is how the check-in process works. So I actually built out through, if you're familiar with the app Notion,
Yep.
it's, yeah, just like you can build out really whatever you want on it. So
Hmm.
I basically spent a million hours building out a client hub for me and my clients to use. And it's
Hmm.
just kind of our own viewing system of this person's schedule. So it's very streamlined and simple. And my biggest thing is cutting out all of the fluff for people because most people don't need more in their life, they need less. So I've streamlined this to have a system to check off all of your daily tasks that you and I would decide are important for you to complete, a system to plan all of your meals, a system to plan all of your workouts, to deliver the strength training workouts that I will be planning for you, and a place just to hold all of our notes for any calls that we have. So before I fully went out into the online space, I wanted to make sure I had all of this down pat so that I wasn't, just wasting somebody else's time with stuff that they're hiring me to do. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that has been my biggest win in a system for all of this. And it truly has streamlined the process for both me and my clients.
Amazing. Like bending something like Notion to your will like that is pretty impressive. Like I'm sure it was
Thank you. It was a learning curve.
difficult. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it
Took a
was
lot of
difficult. Like
hours.
that's pretty amazing. Um and in terms of that system, I guess, do you find that you spend tons of time developing that further, or are you sort of like, this is cool for now, let's run it for a
Mm.
bit, or do you have sort of R&D time, let's call it, for yeah.
Yes, that's a great question. So I actually met somebody last night who's a Notion specialist. So her and I actually talked about a plan for going forward. I'm on version 1 of my Notion template, and I've had a few pieces of feedback from it. It's a little bit of a clunkier software, so it's definitely, I need to, what I told this person last night is that I need to get a little bit more feedback from other people to see what people actually want and need.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna use it, I would say, at least for the next 6 months, and just get feedback on it. I very much value honest feedback, even if it's blunt. It's
Yeah.
not easily offended. So I'm gonna get the feedback that I need, and I want to do a version 2 of this, but I needed to figure out if people even care if it looks pretty or if it can just be in a Times New Roman bold font, and that's fine with them. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to get a few other different types of clients into the hub to see who values what. But for right now, I'm actually pretty proud of the product.
Mm.
I don't like apps in a way that they're not able to be customized most of the time, and they just give you stuff that you don't need, and it's a learning curve. And so the fact that I can make it what I want it to be, nothing more and nothing less, is the value for me. And I have a feeling most of my clients will feel that way.
Yep.
So yes, there is a plan to have a version 2, and I will definitely hire a professional to do that.
Yep.
I'm kind of more in the boat of just doing it messy until I need to not do that way.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, like off the books, I'd love to, get a little tour of what you've done,
Yeah,
someday.
absolutely. You can give me some
Just
feedback.
yeah, yeah, would be amazing. Yeah, my next actual, like, you touched on it, but was, had you worked with any agencies or developers before, and I guess not really, right?
No, I'm a
Mm.
very big learn on my own type of person, and
Yep.
I think the downside to that is using a lot of my own time.
Hmm.
But I'm of the mindset right now where I have time.
Yep.
So I'm gonna use my time until I don't have it anymore. And my plan is to eventually buy back that time.
Yep.
So my end goal, I don't want a huge team. I would like to have a very quality team. So my goal is to invest in a really high quality virtual assistant
Hmm.
and kind of have somebody to be my second brain for me so I really can just focus on the fun stuff and the coaching and all of that. So
Yep.
in time, that will be my agency, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. No, I love that. Yeah, that's sort of how we ended up growing our practice as well. Um, we focus on the fun stuff and actually,
That's what you have to do as a creator. You
yeah,
have to
yeah,
stay in your zone of genius.
yeah. Our team is actually like way more competent than we are at some of the stuff that we have let them own as you know as their role.
Right.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And I'm sure that takes a level of letting go for you that I might not
Yeah,
be at yet.
yeah, yeah. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is tricky, but is really rewarding.
When you have the right people behind you, I'm sure.
Yeah. Um, so an interesting one again, like because you mentioned some of that buying back of time, etc. If you had unlimited time or money, what would you be working on for this for your business?
Hmm, that's a good question. So I think if I had unlimited money, I absolutely would hire a team, 100%. I definitely see the value in that. So
Hmm.
I would probably put a large chunk of money into hiring the right team. I very, very much dislike marketing, I'm realizing. I love giving the ideas to marketing, and I don't love sitting on Canva for 2 hours and creating the content. So that would probably be my first outsource.
Hmm. Hmm.
If I had unlimited time, the route I would love to go down one day is to my ultimate goal would be being a keynote speaker somewhere. So I would invest my time into becoming a better speaker. I would want to be on more podcasts. So I'm really happy that I got your
Yeah.
invite because this is absolutely something that I've wanted to be an intention of mine for a little while now. So this is, I love talking about things versus writing about things and,
Hmm.
selling myself on the internet. So I would definitely invest my time into just making quality connections with people,
Yeah.
traveling to conferences, traveling around, and just meeting different executives, investors, founders, and just hearing other people's stories.
Amazing. Cool. Cool. Um, and then I guess stepping it back a little bit into like what's next rather than what's over there, right? What would be the
Mm-hmm.
next milestone you'd be working towards?
Adding a middle ground of like a not one-to-one version of coaching, I would say. So I've really only worked one on one so far in my career of coaching because I am just very personalized and I don't truly believe that
Hmm.
everybody can get the same answer and the same answer doesn't work for everybody. And at the same time, not every single person can afford a one to one trainer. So, my very next step, hopefully by 2026, I want to have a course, like an evergreen course, come out. So, I want to take a lot of the uh, systems and a lot of the just kind of general ideas and concepts that I coach with people, and I want to turn that into an evergreen course that's a little bit more self paced and
Hmm.
might work for somebody who either doesn't want one-on-one help with a coach or isn't able to afford that. So in the background of all of my coaching right now and everything I'm doing, I'm kind of taking notes on what I can create for the everyday person.
Yeah. Amazing. Um, cool. Cool. I like that. And in terms of that, is that would that be something you know, um, be building a new system for, or possibly is that your point where you're like, maybe the team needs to be part of this step?
I think it will be a lot of what I'm doing right now in building my systems. It'll just be done in a more go at your own pace. So, for instance, the Notion Hub that I'm talking about, it will be offered still in the Evergreen course. I just won't have access to it. It will be for you to do on your own and for you to figure out what your tasks are and for you to figure out what your meals are. And it will have all of the coaching and the knowledge that I have, but in a step below being able to, maybe talk through things with me, and not everybody might need that. So it'll be a lot of the extra system, and the extra step that it will take is actually filming the videos and figuring out what I really do need to get across to somebody in 5 minutes versus a 1 hour call for 12 weeks, that's
Hmm.
where I'm going to have to probably create a new system. And I will most likely be hiring out for something like that because I know nothing about video editing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Cool.
that's where it can't be like, I'm ready to do this tomorrow. But I do want it to be a smaller version of the same experience that my one-to-one clients do get.
Yeah. Amazing. Um, and you touched on it again, but if we can jump in a little bit more, like what kind of support do you think would accelerate that the most?
The one-to-one or the group
The group, the uh
or the
your
ever course.
yeah, group stuff and evergreen stuff, yeah, that you just talked about.
Well, I find that truthfully, the reason that I don't think I've gone down that route yet is because the accountability is really the missing piece. Everybody knows what they have to do. People know they shouldn't be eating out late at night. They know they need to work out. They know they need to strength train. And
Mm,
the level of support that I have found makes the most difference is just having somebody to answer to and having somebody to say, hey, you were going to do this last week. Did you do it?
yeah.
So I'm assuming it's going to attract a different type of person, or it will attract the type of person that has the best intentions and then may not follow through on it. And maybe that is where the one on one, maybe it'll be like a smaller buy into a one on one.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go. And I really do think that's why for 12 years straight I've stuck to one on one, because it just to me is, I'm a relationship person. I think that building a relationship and building a trust with somebody is really how you get through change. Because if you already knew what you had to do and you were ready to do it, you would have already. So I think that is still a lot of the stuff that I do need to figure out.
Yeah.
Maybe a group component to it. That might be an idea too, of launching some sort of group support group, chat or meeting or something. So I'm not
Mm,
really sure yet.
yeah. Cool. Cool. I might be able to cook something up for you on that. um
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Amazing. Cool. So the next bit I have is lightning round. So we'll do just a few questions, um, and the idea is to give anyone listening or watching, um, you know, something to go with, right?
Okay.
Um, best piece of advice you've received when trying to build something new.
Start messy and start imperfect. Figure it out later.
Amazing. Um, any advice you'd like to give someone who's starting with an idea but isn't sure where to begin?
Probably the same advice. Start messy and get what you need and what's on your mind out into the world, and don't worry about doing it perfect. And those are the people that get the farthest in life.
Yeah, amazing. And where can people find out more about you and your work?
So I am on Instagram, new NEW, the letter U fit, and I'm also on LinkedIn, Nichole Wood, new U fit. You can search any of that executive edge, and that is where I hang out the most.
Amazing. I'll drop some links everywhere. I share this
Awesome.
as well, so anyone can find you. Um, and that's time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. This was great.